Hey YouTube, James from the Wyvern Watch here, and here with another deck profile. It's been a little while since my last one, but I suppose I've been taking my time to build this one, and I don't really know why I've not done it before. Hopefully you've seen the deck building video of me sort of trying to put things together. I think it's probably changed a little bit since I did that video, but not massive amounts. But I have now managed to amass all the cards I needed. But yeah, it's a synchro deck, it's a winged beast deck. You'd have thought it'd be right up my street. I just don't know why I've never picked it up before. I think it's mainly because it's dark, and I'm not a massive fan of dark decks. I've got a few dark decks, don't get me wrong, but I've always sort of preferred these sort of lighter attributes. But once I started collecting these, I thought actually the artwork's really cool on them, and I just kept on going and put a list together, and all of a sudden here we are with a fresh deck for the channel. So this is deck number 54 now of my deck collection. Obviously it's growing slowly now. Hopefully I don't think there'll be too many more this year. I am working on number 55, but that will come when I've got a few more cards together. I'm sure I'll do a deck building list at some point as well. But let's get straight on with the Blackwing deck profile. Like I say, I didn't think I'd be putting this list together, but here we are, and here we go. So, first card is one I wasn't familiar with actually. When I put in the list together, I didn't know about this card. I'm not 100% sure when it first came out. I'm fairly sure this is a reprint out of Rarity Collection number 1. I've got these actually in the Platinum Secret Rare the Platinum Secret Rare out of Rarity Collection 1 is different to the Platinum Secret Rare in Rarity Collection 2 and 3. So I really like how it's just got the shiny frame on the card and the levels, but not the whole card. Yeah, not a big fan of the whole card being in the sort of Secret Rare colouring. But this card, if you control no other monsters, you can banish one other Blackwing monster from your hand and place one Black Whirlwind from your deck in face up on your spell and trap card zone. Then either send this card to the graveyard, or immediately after this card resolves, this effect resolves, normal summon it without tributing. And then you can't special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except dark monsters. Well, that really won't be a problem with this deck. And you can only use the effect of Blackwing blah 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 once per turn. During the end phase, send the Black Whirlwind placed by this effect to the graveyard, and if you do, take 1,000 damage. There's other ways of getting that Black Whirlwind off the field before that end phase kicks in, but if you have to take the 1,000 damage, I suppose it's going to be worth it, because Black Whirlwind on the field while you're summoning all your Blackwings is ace. But yeah, that's the opener for the deck, obviously at 3 of. Next 3 of is another new one. Well, new one to me anyway. Sudri the Phantom Glimmer. Sorry, I didn't even give you the name on that one. The previous one was Simoon the Poison Wind. So when this card is normal summon, you can add one card that mentions Blackwing Dragon from your deck to your hand, except Blackwing Sudri. And then you can tribute one monster, special summon one Phantom Glimmer token, which is a Winged Beast Tune of Dark, level 2, attack 700, defense 700, then you can take 700 damage. You cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck the turn you activate this effect, except synchro monsters, and that's obviously a hard once per turn. So again, the synchro summoning thing isn't a massive problem. We do have a couple of links in the extra deck, but they're only there just a worst case scenario sort of thing. Next 3 of is this fella. I remember seeing the card come out, to be honest with you, but I never really sort of read through its effects, because at the time, of course, I wasn't interested in Blackwings. But this is Shamal the Sandstorm. Again, tuner. Well, this one's a tuner. The previous 2 weren't. So we've got a nice even split of tuners and non-tuners. But you can send this card from your hand or field to the graveyard and place one Black Feather Whirlwind, which is the new one, from your deck face up in your spell and trap card zone. And then if a Blackwing Synchro monster or Blackwing Dragon is special summoned to your field while this card is in your graveyard, you can banish this card and target one Blackwing monster in your graveyard and add it to your hand, then take 700 damage. So again, a nice little card, and obviously gets you immediate access to what's it called, Black Feather Whirlwind, which of course is going to be coming up shortly. Last of the three ofs is Blackwing Vata, the emblem of Wandering. Yeah, that's right, Wandering. Again, a cool looking card. Another tuner, this time level 2. So if you control a Blackwing monster other than Blackwing, this Blackwing, you can special summon this card from your hand, full stop, which is a great extender, of course. You can only special summon Vata once per turn this way, and during your main phase, you can send this card on the field to the graveyard, along with one or more non-tuner Blackwing monsters from your deck, so that the total levels exactly equal 8. And if you do, special summon one Blackwing Dragon from your extra deck. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn, except dark monsters. Well, that again won't be too much of a problem with this. But so yeah, obviously we are running Blackwing Dragon, which you've already seen in the extra deck. I am toying with the idea of potentially running another, because I've only got the one in here at the moment. But we'll see how that goes. Next card is Gale the Whirlwind, which obviously most people should be familiar with. It's more a common Blackwing monster in my opinion. These are the Platinum rare out of Rarity Collection number 3, and obviously it's very, very different. The whole card's got the shine to it, which I'm not as big a fan of as Rarity Collection number 1, but I still quite like it. So if you control a Blackwing monster other than Blackwing Gale the Whirlwind, you can special summon this card from your hand, and then once per turn you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls, and that target's attack and defense become half its current attack and defense. But again, it's just a special summon option from your hand, which most of these cards coming up and now share that attribute. The last two of is Blackwing Borer the Spear. So if you control a Blackwing monster other than Spear, you can special summon this card from your hand, and if this card attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing damage. Piercing damage doesn't come up too much because obviously you're going to be using it as material to go into your bigger and better synchro monsters, but if it does, it's nice to have. Then we've got 5 one-offs in the Blackwing lineup. Hopefully you've probably seen one or two of them before. Just try and get them all on camera for you. Oh, they're not quite going to go. Are they going to have to overlap a little bit? Just like it so. You get a nice still image, and you can obviously zoom in and read the effects if you like the idea of this particular card. But we're going to run through basics of them. So Chinook, the Snow Beast. When this card is sent from the so you can send this card from hand or field to the graveyard and target one face-up monster your opponent controls. Send one Blackwing Synchro monster or Blackwing Dragon from your extra deck to the graveyard, and if you do, until the end of this turn, the targeted monster loses 700 attack. Also, its effects are negated. But it also is a quick effect if you control a Dark Synchro monster. So it's nice just to try and keep it in your hand that for when you do control that Dark Synchro monster, and obviously then you can shut down your opponent's monster. Chris, if you control a Blackwing monster other than Blackwing Chris, you can special summon this card from your hand. These are all special summon from hands. Yes, so they're all little extenders basically. And I'm not going to go through all the effects because it'll take a little while. And like I say, we're not really using them for all their effects as far as I'm aware. So, you know, you've got the 2 tuners in here, 3 non-tuners, but they can, well, the last 4 at least, can special summon themselves from the hand. So the little extenders, getting extra levels on the field so we can go for that all-important synchro summon. The last monster in the lineup is one I chose to play, and I don't think it's a common card in the Blackwing lineup, but I suppose it is a hand trap, but I'm not playing any hand traps, and I've explained this one before, guys. If you want to play a more competitive build, then by all means take out Dark Honest, put a few more sort of powerful hand traps in there. There'll be cards in the spell and trap lineup that you probably wouldn't play if you were going for the competitive lineup, but I wanted to play it, and the reason being is it's a dark deck, and Dark Honest may as well be a Blackwing card. Honestly, look at the artwork on it. I've not been able to play this card in any of my other dark decks so far, so I've decided this is the deck it's going to be played in. It seems appropriate, you know, artwork wise, so that's what it's going for. So technically I am running a hand trap, but just not one of your typical ones, I suppose. Okay, and then we're going for 3, of course, Black Whirlwind. Any Blackwing players should be familiar with this card, and when a Blackwing monster is normal summon to your field, you can add 1 Blackwing monster from your deck to your hand. Fairly simple. Obviously, it's one that needs to be an attack less than that monster, but not normally too much of a problem. And obviously, it's a continuous spell. And there are cards that allow you an extra normal summon in here, and it's not once per turn, so you might be able to get a couple of searches from Black Whirlwind anyway. And then, of course, 2 Black Feather Whirlwind. Let's say both of those cards are searchable and continuous, but once per turn, you can special summon a Dark Synchro monster from the extra deck. If you special summon a Dark Synchro monster, you can target one of your Blackwing monsters or Blackwing Dragon that is banished or in your graveyard with less attack than the special summon monster. Special summon it, and then once per turn, if a dark monster you control will be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can remove 1 Black Feather counter from your field instead. And obviously there's a few cards that sort of generate the Black Feather counters, so hopefully that comes into play. Another one that probably isn't the more popular card, but I still really like it. If you see some of my Wing Beast decks, Wing Requital is one of my sort of staples, if you like. I just think it's dead useful. I don't really understand why it doesn't see more play, really. But if all monsters you control are Wing Beast monsters and you control at least 2 with different names, pay 600 life points and draw 2 cards. For me, it's a fairly standard one. I mean, it's pretty common that you'll have 2 Wing Beast monsters on the field at the same time, especially if it's Blackwings. I used to run it in Gusto. I don't think I do anymore. But Raid Raptors have it in my deck, which is another dark one, of course. But yes, Ring Requital at 2. And another draw power is, of course, 2 Allure of Darkness. Draw 2 cards, then remove from play. This is old school text. 1 dark monster from your hand, and if you don't have any dark monsters in your hand to remove, send all cards in your hand to the graveyard, which is fair enough. These are the sort of old school ultimate rare versions. I've had these a long time, to be fair. I used to play them in Dark Magician, but obviously Dark Magician got their own draw power, so they came out. Last 2 in terms of spells is just a couple of Twin Twisters. I always like to run some sort of spell trap removal, and I try to keep it sort of, I know it's a little bit weird like this, but I tried to keep it sort of theme orientated. So obviously Winged Beast, Black Wings, it's all wind based sort of. So I've gone for Twin Twisters because obviously it's a tornado sort of thing. So anyway, that's what we've gone for there. And last but not least is just 1 Harpy's Feather Duster. Still think it's a super card, and obviously relevant with the wings, etc. Onto traps. Not too many traps, but we are indeed running 2 Black Sonics, which I had in my collection for a long time, so ever since I opened the box of Dragons of Legend, the first box. So I'm pleased to be able to use these now. They've been sat in a drawer for a long time. When an opponent's monster declares an attack on a Blackwing monster you control, banish all face-up attack position monsters your opponent controls. And if you control exactly 3 Blackwing monsters and no other monsters, you can activate this card from your hand. So yeah, it's a fairly simple card, but does the trick in my opinion. We're also running 2 Blackbird Close, which is a counter trap. So when a monster your opponent controls activates effect, you can send one face-up Blackwing monster you control to the graveyard, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. Then you can special summon 1 Blackwinged Dragon from your extra deck. If you control a Blackwing Synchro monster or Blackwing Dragon, you can activate this card from your hand. Again, a nice little sort of little negation on that one. And the last 2 one-offs, I've got 1 Blackwing Revenge and 1 Draco Utopian Aura. So when when a Winged Beast monster you control is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, special summon 2 Blackwing Black Crest tokens, which are Winged Beast type, dark, level 2, attack 0, defense 800. And then Draco Utopian Aura is when your opponent activates a monster effect on the field, negate the activation. If you do, destroy the card, and then you can apply the following effect: banish 1 monster from your hand, and if you do, special summon the monster that was destroyed and sent to the graveyard by this effect to your field, but negates the effects. You can only do that once per turn, of course. I just thought, again, fitting with the theme, I just wanted that extra little non sort of Blackwing support to put through in there. I thought that was prudent, and we'll go for that for now. That is the main deck, guys. We're going to move swiftly on to the extra deck. I'm already eating your time away. I do apologise. So we won't go into the extra deck in too much detail, but just to sort of go through my choices here. So we've got Blackwing Graham, the Shining Star, which of course is a level 5. Let's see if I can get them all on here. It's the only level 5 actually, but we're also running, of course, Blackwing Nothung the Starlight, which again has been sat in my collection a long time. Blackwing Borestorm the Wicked Wind. I'm going to have to get familiar with what all these actually individually do, but I'm familiar with some of them. But no, I'm going to have to take a little bit of practice. But this is the lineup I've gone for. Blackwing Armor Master, which of course is one of the more familiar guys. I've got 2 Assault Blackwing Raikiri the Rain Shower. Just because I thought when I was reading through it, I just thought actually that does seem quite good. And then I've managed to pick them up in the Ultimate Rare ones as well, which I really like that actually. I think it makes the character pop on the card, and really nice, pretty card. You know I like my shiny cards. Moving on, Assault Blackwing Chidori the Rain Sprinkling. Will it fit? Oh, we'll just maybe overlap a little bit. We've got Blackwinged Dragon, of course. I managed to pick this up in the Starlight Rare. I still believe Starlight Rare to be nicer than the Quarter Century Rare in my opinion. I think it's more exclusive as well, because there's lots of Quarter Centuries around. There aren't so many Starlight Rares. We've also got one Blackwing Tamer Obsidian Hawk Joe, which again should be more familiar. I've got one Beals the Diabolic Dragons, of the Diabolic Dragons. One Blackwinged Assault Dragon. Remember when that one came out. One Blackwing Full Armor Master, which is the newer version of Armor Master, of course. One Assault Wing Animaru the Divine Thunder, which is sort of the highest level one. Just pop down him there for a minute. And then the 2 links are Dark, the Dark Charmer, and Raid Raptor Wystrix, funnily enough, but obviously its effect works with Blackwings just as much as it does with Raid Raptors. Guys, that's, like I say, quick version of the extra deck. Apologies for that. I just think if I went through every effect on the extra deck monsters, we would be here for another 10 minutes. So feel free to obviously pause the video, make sure, you know, if there's anything you're not too sure about. Last from me, I've got, this is actually what sort of drove me to build the deck in the first place. I was looking for a token to use with, what was it? Oh, Stardust Synchron, and picked these up, and I thought actually they're quite nice, and then I thought actually let's have a look at Blackwings, and then all of a sudden I built a Blackwing deck, haven't I? That's how it goes over here. Guys, that is it for the video. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate you obviously watching it and making sure, you know, going through the whole video. I know it's a bit painful sometimes me reading these effects out, because I'm not the best reader in the world, but you know, when I'm building these decks, I'm building them for the first time most of the time, so I'm not the best Blackwing player you'll ever meet, but I will do some testing with it, and I'll see how my build goes, and go from there. And obviously we'll update, and I look forward to seeing some of your comments. Do subscribe if you haven't already, and apart from that, we'll see you for the next profile. Cheers then, bye bye.